Hi, and welcome to Chapter 10, Lesson 6 Notes. This is Mrs. Fries. Today we're going to be looking at the probability of simple events. Please write the following definitions into your notebook. Probability, a ratio that compares the number of favorable outcomes to the number of possible outcomes. Outcome, possible results. Simple event, one outcome or a collection of outcomes. Sample space, the set of all possible outcomes. Probability of an event can be written this way, an uppercase P with event, whatever it is, in the parentheses. To find the probability of an event, we put the number of favorable outcomes, the things that we want to have happen, over the total number of possible outcomes. When we find the probability of an event, we need to use a probability number line to determine whether it's impossible, unlikely, as likely to happen as not, likely, or certain to happen. In order to read this chart, this probability number line, let's look at the writing below. Where'd it go? There it is. All right. Probability of an event that is less than 50%, but not zero, because 0% is impossible. If you have 0% chance of something happening, there is no chance. It's impossible for it to happen. So if it's less than 50, but not zero, so somewhere between this and this, just right a little more than zero, but less than 50%, then you can say that it is unlikely to happen. But if you have the probability of an event that's greater than 50, but not quite 100%, you can say it is likely to happen. Something that's 100% going to happen is certain. You know, if it's 100%, it has every chance of happening. So let's look at how we're going to use the probability number line. Here's an example. A bag contains 7 pink, 2 white, and 6 blue marbles. 1 marble is selected without looking. Find the probability of blue. Then describe the likelihood of the event. You're going to use your probability number line to describe whether it's impossible, unlikely, as likely to happen as not, likely, or certain. So to find the probability of blue, remember we want to put the favorable outcomes in the numerator, the things we want to have happen, and put the total number of outcomes in number cube is what they are calling a die. Okay, and a die has a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6 as your outcomes. But find the probability of even. So my outcomes on a die we just said, were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. If I want to find the probability of rolling an even number, then I look at how many numbers are even. I have 2, 4, and 6. Those are the things I want to have happen. And how many total outcomes? There are 6. So favorable over total. Okay, we know that that is a half. As a decimal, that's 0.5. And as a percent, that's 50%. Looking at my probability number line, it says that's as likely to happen as not, or we can say equally likely. So my answer will be both. Okay. Still using a standard number cube, which they called something different. What they call it back here? They call it a six-sided number cube. Still, that's a die. They're calling it a standard number cube now. Same thing that we did on the last example. We want to find the probability that when you roll it, it is not a 6. So probability that it is not 6. Well, we know that the outcomes of a die, right? We just listed those on the last slide. The outcomes on a die are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So the probability that it's not a 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers out of a total of 6 outcomes. Let's make that a decimal. 5 divided by 6, that is 0.83, which is 83%. If I look at my probability number line, 83% is greater than 50 but less than 100, so this is likely to roll a number that is not a 6. So here is my two-part answer. All right, thank you and have a great day.